So here's a preliminary initial coating of a flat gray on the Bandai Millennium Falcon. It really brings out a lot more detail once I get some paint on that. The color that I ended up going with, I looked at a few from Tamiya, but I ended up looking at the directions and they suggested using a combination of white and flat gold gray. So to me it doesn't have that color, but I did have some Model Masters light gold gray. It's an acrylic, so I just mixed it. It's about 45% the gray, 55% flat white from Tamiya. So I mixed those together and came up with a nice gray right here. And it's very, very close to the model. There is a slight difference if you were to compare the two, but it is very close to it. So that was a great directions on there as to what the colors are. I'll look at some of the other colors that they suggest. So I have an initial coat. I started doing some of the photo etching. This isn't glued in place, but you can see how cool that is. Once I get a light coat of paint on that, I'm going to leave it enough so you can see underneath it and see that little detail, which is really cool. So that's really neat. They also have the gunner stations. So here's the two that I started painting. You can see they're obviously brass. I was trying to get some images online of those, and I got some basic ideas. So it would be a little tricky to paint, but I put a basic light gray on it. Not the same gray as that, a little bit darker. But these will be able to be lit from behind. Yeah, look at those tiny little details. So these two sections, and there's also sections behind these little slots here that light up. I'm going to work out some kind of little tube behind it as well to join the two together. And these actually replace the kit ones. These fold up and they make the pilot station, the gunner station. And you have these other little control panels as well that I still have to paint. And they get glued onto parts here as well, like right there and on the sides. So these are really cool. I think these are going to work out really nicely. And I do want to definitely light them. And then I completed one of the window sections. It's a little tricky to do because you have to cut out the outer part with these little radial rings, and then there's a ring in the center that I had to glue into place. So, but I think it'll be fine once I get it painted. And this will replace the kit part as well for the top of that. And I'll have some, once I paint it, I'll have some clear, very thin plastic behind it to give it the window there as well. So definitely making some great progress here. Turn that over here. Got the bottom painted as well. There. I still have to take the kit back apart once this fully dries, and then get like those intersections in there that I couldn't get. That inner part there. Also, like the gray. Turn this over. Like the gray inside there, so you can see the difference, just slightly different. And I just put that the solid plastic one inside temporarily, so I didn't get. I'm going to use the clear one, but I didn't want to get it covered with paint. So I'll take these two halves apart once that dries, and paint the inner parts that'll be exposed as well. Just see if this comes off. Yeah, there you go. So you can see the difference. There's the kit gray, and there's the gray that I ended up with. So I really like this combination of the white and the gold gray. I think it's just right for the kit. And it gives that nice flat finish too. I use the flat versions of it. So, all right. So let me get that apart. I'll get those inner parts done as well, and then I can begin doing some weathering on that as well. So I went back over the detailed parts of the Millennium Falcon with some black paint on the bottom. along the sides, the highly detailed parts of it. I was watching, going back and watching another YouTuber, Bashing Kits. Really good detail that he puts on his models, and he did the Millennium Falcon. He's really excellent at weathering, and I like a lot of the tips that he gives on there. So he started with the entire thing being black and then painted over it with the gray coat to leave some highlights underneath it, and especially with the detailing. So since I already painted mine, I just went over the sections that I wanted to be dark, like these here, and I'll put the tops over these because I have the separate Photo-Etch ones that I'm going to use, and then I'll paint these different sections again where all the detail is with another coat of the light gray that I made, and that way deep down inside the details will still be dark and visible on those big sections there as well, making it easier to get a nice weathered look without having to put paint down into those little sections. So those are drying. As soon as that's finished, I will put another coat of my clear gray, and then we should be about ready to start putting the decals on. Alright, so I went ahead and covered up the parts that I made with the flat black. I left these black. I'm going to eventually detail those with some probably gunmetal or chrome or something else so that they'll show through. I'll still have the black under it, but I'll have more details so it'll show through the grills, the Photo-Etch grills. There are the detailed sections that I went and got some more of the light gray on, and this is a really cool method. I like it, as I mentioned in the previous video here, where you paint the black underneath it, and then you paint your top coat so that all the detail down inside there is still darkened and highlighted, but it's not obviously highlighted. Same with the side detail and that part there, and the front mandibles as well. That section there is a little darker than the other ones. I may have to go over that with some more of the gray, which is fine. And then those sections there too. So it darkens underneath it still, because the once I painted them black and I put the gray back on, I couldn't get all the way down in, obviously, which is what you want. So that gives it a better detail. It's like I got a little bit of black still in that section. I'll have to touch that up a bit. Alright, and likewise inside that section there, it's the same thing. It gives it a darker detail to it, but it's still visible. Alright, so that's all dried, and I'm ready to start putting on the decals. So let me start adding those on, and then we'll do some chipping of those, and maybe some little bit of highlighting of those with some of the other colors that I got of paint to make them the right shades, and then start some weathering. All right, so just on a lark, I decided I was going to try one of the stickers just to see how they would look, because I thought, they're stickers, they're going to be really thick and kind of crappy, but I could not be more wrong. The stickers are definitely the way to go. They're really super thin, and they adhere really well to the surface, and I really even like the colors better, like the dark reds, the yellows, the grays even. They're better than the decals, definitely. So let me show you. I went ahead and started putting them on, and I think they're amazing. In the end, I can still weather them and put some chipping on them and put a flat coat, but they go on nicely. I mean, they're a bit tricky because you have to get them molded around those little bumps and such right there, and you just mostly use my fingertip, like my fingernail, or I use my X-Acto knife to secure them down. But they look really good, really good. I was watching another video on YouTube while putting this together, and somebody referred to the stickers as maybe if a small child or a kid was doing it, they would have a hard time doing this kit. This kit is a very intricate kit. Other than the main build, all the little fiddly bits and the greeblies, very delicate, very time-consuming to put on. These stickers alone, these are going to take me quite a while, but they're quite cool, and I love them, and I really like putting them on there. So I'm going to go with the sticker route, and I'm really glad I tried that out, because no water, just basically cut them off, or not cut them off, but use my X-Acto knife to peel them away and then put them on. But look at that red there. That red's really nice. It's nice and dark. I did a little bit in the bottom with the yellow. I like that yellow as well. So I think these are going to be the way to go, and then I can easily weather those as well. All right, so let me get those completed. All right, so coming along nicely on the stickers. I really like these a lot. Look how smooth they go on. Once I get them all on, I'll put a flat coat over this, a dull coat, and it will blend it in with the rest of the model. But they go on very smoothly. No water needed. Just peel them off. They're very thin, and I like these dark colors a lot better on there. So looking really good. I started doing some of the scorching of the damaged areas, that part there in the front, little blast holes. I think that turned out really well. Once that dries, I just started with some Tamiya flat black. I will use some other colors like some gunmetal inside it, maybe some dark gray like some German gray, and streak that a little bit more. And I just took a Q-tip and I just dabbed it on there and just streaked it off with the Q-tip so it would give that scorching look. I did the same thing back here for these parts right there. That turned out really well. Some blast marks. So same thing, I'll get those with some other colors as well. Started a little bit of the stickers on the bottom. But those are coming along well. I should be able to get these finished up here shortly on the back there as well. So I really like those, and those colors, like I said, they're better than the decals. So we're definitely getting there. Once I get all the stickers on and I get some more of this scorching here detailed, I'll get a flat coat on here, and then I'll be ready to start doing some weathering. See if I can focus. There's two little red lines right there as well. They go up right up there. So a lot of very fine little detail. That little red dot right there as well, you can see. It's hard to see right on that edge there, but there's a little bit of yellow. Yeah, so definitely some very delicate stuff. There's some red right there. All right, so that's turning out really well. And then we'll work on some weathering techniques. I got some more paints as well, including some rust, some various grays. And I got a couple of sponges. Let me show you that. Just some standard cheap sponges, like some sponge material, foam material. This rough green stuff, I'm going to peel off or cut off little pieces of it and try to do some chipping on the model, where I just dip it into the primary color and then dab it onto some of these panels to look like there's paint showing through. So I'm going to work on that a little bit too. All right, let me work on this some more and see what other progress we can make here. All right, so I did a little bit more work on the Photo-Etch gunner stations, and I just tried to pull up some images on Google to see what they would generally look like. So, and you'll see those two stations, light shines through there. So that's kind of the basic colors: red, black, gray, lighter gray. So once these are folded in, these will be the two, not the top piece, but the two outer ones. And I'll paint the rest of these too. Plus there's more Photo-Etch sections to glue onto there. probably work out some detailing on these as well. So not too bad for the very tiny detail. And pretty much you're just going to see it like this when you look through the gunner stations. I'm going to have these lit up from the back, and I'm going to come up with a tube to go between them, and I have a couple of pieces of tube styrene here, and they're just happen to be the right diameter, which is kind of cool. So this one here fits right through the center of this hole, and the other one is just a little bit bigger. So I'll cut off a piece, and I'll have just the edge of this sticking out of both ends of it, so it will basically marry up with the inside of this, and I'll see about putting some minor detail inside of it, nothing major. But the lighting, other than on the outside of these, when these are all folded together, I'm going to seal them up so that they'll be light blocked, and then I'll just have light shining through from the outside, and lots of little fine holes and detail showing through there. And then likewise, these little slots here and here where the panels go on top, there'll be just a little bit of light shining through there too. Plus the back of it is going to be more of a white light coming through this tube. So the tube will be between it. I'll probably just have a SMD mounted on a little opening to shine light through, or just shine through the white tube. This is painted black right now for another use I was using it for, but that will sorry about that. But that will shine some white light from the back of the turret, and I don't want it to be too bright, so it won't take away from those really fine little. It's hard to show that there. Wow, it's really tiny. There we go. All those little teeny lights shining through those two panels there. Will be kind of cool. There we go. So that'll be neat. Alright. So do a little bit more gluing on of some of the Photo-Etch, and then I'll get some more painting on those and maybe start getting these together here shortly. Alright, so just about completed with the stickers. Just to show you the complexity of these stickers. I mean, there's over 100 of them. And in some places they're so tiny. This little one right here that goes right there. And so to make all of this red area, there literally is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different pieces, very tiny pieces that go in between these little piping. Pretty amazing to give you that detail. So they did a great job on these stickers, and the decals as well, I'm sure. So I'm just finishing this up. It's coming along really nicely. I got the top all completed just about, and the bottom completed, so looking quite beautiful. Getting ready to do some chipping on the paint and some weathering. And I've completed all of the stickers, maybe some minor ones that have to go in that front cockpit. I'm not ready to put those on yet. There's 1 or 2 that go over some landing gear on the bottom, which I don't have on, so I'm not going to put those on either. But very nice. Definitely add realism to this model. And my blast marks that I put there are kind of cool. So I have that all done on there. Have the bottom all completed. Various places. There is one piece that's supposed to go right there, but I already have the blast mark, so that was not going on because it wouldn't look very good. I have the back pieces on there as well. Focus. Alright. Well, it's been on very well without any issues. I did have a few little bits and pieces on some of these back ones. Just go like right there. But I'm going to weather and chew up some of these and have some chipping through them anyway, so it doesn't really much matter. But for the majority, they're on there really well. Looks really good. And as I said, this is well over 100 stickers, some very tiny. Let me get a little close up on that. This section alone had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different stickers. And so one right there, one in between its little two pipes, one there, this little piece on top, and this one up here. So quite an intricate setup that they have on this. I began doing a little bit of the weathering inside there with some metallic, some gunmetal. I put it in a little bit heavy, and then I just rinsed it out really good with some acrylic thinner so it wouldn't hold it on. That right there, I got some rust on it, and I got some set that down there. Okay, yeah, that one I got some rust in it and some metallics, so I'm going to do little bits and pieces and do it a little bit at a time. That one's kind of cool. I put some rust on it and some metal and rubbed the metal off, so that looks really chewed up. Looks like an old piece of aluminum that's been beat up. So I'm going to do some more of that, of course, but for now I'm going to go ahead and get a flat coat on it so I can cover up all the stickers. They're not likely to come up, but my main purpose is to take off that sheen. You can see a little bit of difference. So once I get a dull coat on this, that will cover that up. It'll all blend in nicely with the rest of the gray on the kit. So a lot of progress. I have all the main sections and things done. Well, some really nice damage on there. I might do one or two other damaged parts, but so once I get a flat coat ready to start doing some weathering and streaking, some chipping on some of the different colors. So all right, fantastic. All right, so I'm going to wrap up this video, but I took the two halves apart again and took off the mandibles because I want to work a little bit on some other little lighting ideas. That'll be pretty straightforward, but it'll be pretty cool, including the lighting up of the landing lights right there, as you can see. In each of those little areas there, I'm going to have some SMDs coming through and lighting those up. I also took apart one of the front mandibles, and I drilled a hole through that little light in the front there. So I'm going to light that up as well, run a wire through here. And they're going to be in a separate circuit, so there'll be my landing mode that all those little landing lights will light up, and the front headlights will light up as well. I started some chipping on the bottom of the decals, you can see there. Mostly used the base coat to mimic some chipping away of the stickers there, the different painted sections. Looks kind of cool. I'm going to add a little bit more darkened, like some German gray as well, to make it look more pronounced and deeper gouges on there as well, like you can see. So my damage looks really cool right there. I finished up and honed in the damage on the front, so there's my blast marks right there. I think those turned out really cool. A little bit of metal showing through, some gunmetal on that one right there. So haven't done any chipping yet on the top, but I did go ahead and get some highlights of gunmetal on those little sections, the fans inside of the engine grills here. So when the top grills are on, they're gonna look pretty cool. You can see that detail showing through there. So that's kind of awesome. And a little bit more weathering of those detailed sections in there. That looks pretty cool. Same with right there. Started using a little bit of rust, that kind of thing. There's some more of that blast mark. That looks really awesome. So I'm going to wrap this video up. So I will continue on the chipping and the weathering, and I'll start doing a little bit of washes on here as well, and continue to work on the lighting. All right, so I will see you next time on this.